Next up, I'll recognize Ms. Radewagen for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Pappas and Ranking Member Bergman, for holding this hearing today. Thank you to the witnesses for their testimony, and special thank you to Representative Rice for her work on HR 2429 and 2428, which I'm proud to co-sponsor. We've been working together for a while now, and I can't emphasize enough how appreciative I am of the bipartisanship that went into the most recent versions of these oversight bills. So, Mr. Wilbur, can you please tell us what you see as type of safeguards that are in place in HR 2428, how these will ensure that the Office of the Inspector General does not abuse this new authority? And can you please highlight some of the examples you listed in your written statement where your investigations have been hampered because your office did not have subpoena authority?
Yes, first, I think in terms of safeguards, it is important to note that this authority would not apply to our criminal procedures and our criminal investigators. Our criminal investigators work with the Department of Justice and U.S. Attorney's offices to conduct their criminal investigations. And when testimony is required for those criminal proceedings, that is done through the grand jury. So first of all, we are talking about the use of this authority in connection with our other oversight work. Principally, we see this as aiding our healthcare inspectors, whose role is to review adverse healthcare outcomes that happen at the department. One of the ways in which this will help, and this is highlighted in a number of the examples that we provided with my written testimony, is that we run into situations where we want to speak with a healthcare provider or a supervisor when we are undertaking a healthcare inspection related to an adverse outcome at a VA medical center, and that healthcare provider has already left VA employment. They've gone to the private sector, and they are unavailable to us in terms of our ability to compel them to speak with us and provide information that we can then use to evaluate the healthcare provided and to make recommendations to the department about how to improve healthcare going forward. That's one principal area. In addition, the VA is increasingly relying on community care through a number of pieces of legislation that have been passed in recent years. And so those community care providers are, again, they are not VA employees. They are generally unavailable to us as well for us to compel their testimony. If they've treated a veteran and there's an adverse outcome, we want to be able to speak with them as well. And finally, the third area where this is principally helpful, and this goes beyond just our healthcare, but other administrative investigations we may undertake, is with respect to contractors. Employees of contractors, if they leave that contractor, we cannot compel them to testify, or if the contractor no longer has a contract with the department, or if they were just sort of undertaking an effort to get a contract, those people are unavailable to us. And there's often fraud involved in those situations where we want to be able to speak with a contractor, employee, or others in order to understand what happened and to be able to make recommendations to the department about how to potentially take disciplinary action against current employees, or to at least safeguard itself against fraud in the future.
Okay, my time is short. Do you support the draft bill on the agenda that would tighten up the background checks required for certain contractors at VA facilities?
We do support that bill. We think it's important that that those background checks are undertaken. We have, through our audit work, identified for the department this as a potential issue. We sent an administrative memorandum to the department highlighting that as a potential issue, and really highlighting the fact that given the backlog that has taken place over the last year, that it may be difficult for the department to really work through that and obtain background checks for people that have been brought on during the pandemic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Well, thank you, Ms. Radewagen.